So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
From the moment Donald Trump returned to power promising maximum transparency, it was clear he was looking through coal-tinted spectacles. It was always highly unlikely that his Justice Department would fully open the books on Jeffrey Epstein while Trump himself appeared in those records. The past week's chaotic and partial release of Epstein-related files has only reinforced that conclusion, and with it, the sense that Trump and his DOJ believe themselves to be above the law. Attorney General Pam Bondi set the tone with a weekend post declaring that Trump was leading the most transparent administration in American history, oddly citing the release of the files related to last summer's attempted assassination of the president. Public reaction quickly shifted to Epstein. Commentators, many of them Trump supporters, dismissed Bondi's claim outright and accused the administration of a cover-up. The anger did not come primarily from Democrats or the institutional left, but from conspiracy-minded segments of Trump's own coalition. That backlash is revealing. Trump spent years courting voters who distrust institutions and believe powerful elites are concealing massive crimes, particularly involving child trafficking and financial corruption. Epstein's real and horrific abuse became a cornerstone of those beliefs, amplified by online movements such as QAnon. On the campaign trail, Trump leaned into this suspicion, hinting he would support releasing investigative files. Bondi later refueled expectations by claiming the documents were already on her desk. When the release finally arrived, it fell far short of what had been promised or legally required. Instead of comprehensive disclosure, the Justice Department published a limited batch of materials, thousands of links, many heavily redacted, offering little new information. Entire categories of documents were missing, and the long-awaited transparency produced more frustration than clarity. Throughout, Trump attempted to divert the news cycle with more extrajudicial killings, threats of war, and announcements of new Navy destroyers bearing his name. The regime's explanation has been consistent and unconvincing. Victim protection. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche argued that the review process was ongoing to avoid harming survivors, the same Todd Blanche that took a private meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. That justification rang hollow when survivors themselves condemned the release, saying the DOJ had both withheld vast amounts of material and failed to properly redact victim identities. Rather than protecting them, survivors said the department had caused real and immediate harm. The Trump regime ignored those survivors entirely, even when they stood on the steps of the Capitol and pleaded with him not to turn their trauma into political theater. The most telling episode involved the temporary removal of photographs that included Donald Trump himself. Among them was a previously unseen image of Trump posing with women in swimwear, found inside Epstein's residence. The Justice Department initially pulled the photo, citing concerns raised by prosecutors in New York. After public outcry, the image was restored, accompanied by an admission that no victims were depicted. That brief appearance spoke louder than any press release. If the regime's commitment to transparency were genuine, there would have been no reason to single out images involving Trump for further action. The incident underscored a basic political reality. The Trump regime will not release material that places its own president in an uncomfortable or suspicious light, even when it does not prove wrongdoing. Proving one thing, that this is a cover-up. Trump compounded the confusion by falsely claiming that 100,000 pages had been released, an assertion quickly contradicted by reporters and lawmakers who noted that even generous estimates put the total way below that number, redactions included. The exaggeration further eroded trust in the process. Congress has not let the issue drop, though. Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer announced plans to pursue legal action against the Justice Department for failing to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, a new law that Congress passed and Trump signed, requiring full disclosure by a firm deadline. That deadline passed unmet. House lawmakers from both parties, including Republican Thomas Massie and Democrat Ro Khanna, have accused Bondi of violating the law and floated consequences ranging from contempt proceedings to impeachment. Yet the question remains, how does anyone meaningful hold an administration to account when it controls the machinery of enforcement? Legal experts warn that options are limited. Contempt referrals would run back through the Justice Department itself. Lawsuits would take months or years. Impeachment, while dramatic, is politically fraught. In other words, even clear non-compliance may carry few immediate consequences, especially when Trump positions himself as the ultimate law enforcer and treats the DOJ as a personal instrument. What has emerged instead is a familiar pattern. Transparency is promised in sweeping terms, expectations are deliberately raised among a distrustful public, then the actual disclosures are tightly managed. High-profile names other than Trump, Bill Clinton, for example, appear prominently in the released material, prompting accusations that the drip feed is designed to insinuate rather than illuminate. Clinton's representatives have openly called for all remaining documents to be released without limitation, arguing that selective disclosure only deepens suspicion. At its core, the Epstein files controversy exposes a contradiction at the heart of Trump's movement. A coalition built on the belief that hidden elites are shielded by the system is now watching its own administration invoke that same system to delay, redact, and control the narrative. For many supporters, the grievance is not merely that documents were withheld, but that the withheld documents fail to confirm what they already believe. Seen in that light, the outcome was predictable. As long as Donald Trump's name appeared in Epstein-related records, full transparency was never a realistic option. The Justice Department's missed deadlines, partial releases, selective removals, and shifting explanations point not to protection of victims, but to damage control. The result satisfies no one, undermines public trust, and reinforces the very suspicion it was meant to dispel. For Trump and his DOJ, this was never about protecting victims of child sex trafficking and abuse. In their calculus, Trump and his wealthy associates, including figures such as the former Prince Andrew, are the ones deserving of the strongest protection, not because they were harmed, but because exposure itself is treated as victimization. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.